Schmoville, what's going on? It is another episode of the Schmoes Know podcast, the archives. If you're on this channel, you're here for that very reason, to check on the old episodes of the podcast. We have put up all the episodes from Phase 1. We're into Phase 2 now and putting all those in. This is when the guests kept coming and you guys kept listening more and more, so we kept doing more of them, and it became what it is today. So we thank you guys for that. But this is a very special episode because this was the first time that our pal Jeremy Jahns was ever on the podcast. And it wasn't a phone call, he was live in studio. It was during the time that we were filming You Reviewers. He was in town to film You Reviewers for the second You Reviewers. We talk about it in the podcast. Actually, you know what? No, that's not true. He was here for another reason but we did talk about the You Reviewers a lot, how it all started. So it was a very interesting conversation there. But he also talks about how he started. This is like the origins of Jeremy Jahns, what he was doing, and I guess he saw a couple of our videos before he started doing some reviews as well, and he wanted to go and do some reviews, and we got into that, we talked about that, and just basically everything that he did to how he added the red screen and all that stuff. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great interview, and he's a lot of fun during it as well. Our chemistry hasn't changed from how you see if you watched the last You Reviewers a couple of days ago or weeks ago, then you know we have that thing. Jeremy's a good dude. We've gotten along from the beginning, and this interview should attest to that. I think we also talk a lot about the movies that were coming out, fall movies that were coming out also in 2011. So it's fun, and he wound up hosting 2 more episodes after this. So check this out. Watch this interview with Jeremy Jahns. Listen to it. Check it out. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel here, make sure you do so, and check out all the news on schmoesknow.com. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. Okay, guys, so we are back. It is the Schmoes Know podcast. Unbelievably, this thing is not off of iTunes. It's still running somehow, and I'm Christian Harloff.
And I'm Mark Ellis, and I like how every time you intro the podcast, it sounds like, hey, guys, we're back. Like you didn't expect. Well, guys, amazingly, we're still able to do a podcast.
That's the thing. If you listen to the first one we ever did, we didn't even know if it was going to make it past 4 episodes, but it did. And we're actually, I say this every week, but and I mean it every week, but I really mean it this week. I'm very excited for our guest this week, and I know that a lot of people watching on Blog TV are very excited for this guest. He literally has become like a deity on YouTube.
He's at the top of YouTube Mount Olympus.
Yeah, he is. He literally is one of the biggest movie reviewers on YouTube right now.
The biggest movie reviewer, as far as I'm concerned.
That's very good. And he is a co-collaborator with the You Reviewers Awards. He is a really good guy, and we're happy to have him here, Jeremy Jahns.
Where were you guys when I was in high school? Because I never got praised like that for the first 23 years of my life. Not that I was in high school at age 23, but I'm just saying.
Well, you've done a lot for us as far as the growth of our channel, and you're an active member in the YouTube community, and it's
And you could have been in high school when you were 23. You got a young look to you. You could have like 21 Jump Streeted it.
Yeah, the Johnny Depp character. That's me all the way.
That's so sad. It's like I'm going back to high school, not like for undercover work or anything, just so I can be cool one time.
I think we all showed our age when we threw out 21 Jump Street just now. And the fact that we know who Peter DeLuise is.
Well, maybe we're talking about the remake that's coming out. How about that?
That's exactly what we were talking about.
It keeps you young. It's like, I just saw Fright Night. It's my favorite movie. No, I'm talking about the 2011. I wasn't born in 85.
So today we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff with Jeremy. First thing we want to kind of see how, a lot of you guys are wondering as far as, how he got started. And I know a lot of his fans are familiar with the fact that it started with the Transformers 2 review and all that. But we're going to kind of dive into it a little more with him. But what we're also going to do today is we are going to talk about the upcoming fall movie releases, and we're all going to kind of give our opinions, what we're excited about. Blog TV will see that we're cheating and looking at it Entertainment Weekly and don't know it at the top of our heads.
But don't say that. The people aren't.
Oh, I apologize.
I think the fact that it's the Schmoes podcast, they pretty much know that we have to cheat at some point.
I think if we put it on the table, no one will be able to see. We're just reading, the wood lines.
And you know what? Like, nobody knows what with the fall movies that are coming out. Like when it's going to be summertime, Captain America's coming out, Thor's coming out. But the fall, it's like, what's that new period piece with Helen Mirren? Nobody's that excited.
Yeah, it's like a part of your brain is shut off until fall. And then the moment fall comes out, you're like, I know all the movies in fall now, but when you're in summer, you don't know.
I think a lot of that is true, though, too, because, you do know, like, Mission Impossible 2, and they do put some in blockbusters that are coming out, like, the November, December. What did I say, 2?
Yeah.
Well, I hoped that it was 2 because the John Woo one was so terrible. So
Tom Cruise does have long hair in this one, so I understand the mistake.
Yes. So, that the big budget movies that are coming out, but you're right, because, like last
the last time, like when the Oscar movies were coming out, you didn't know a lot of them. Like when Black Swan hit and all this, you're like, what the hell is this? And then True Grit, what the hell, a Western? And then it really kind of...
The Fighter, you hope, because last year at this time, we really needed good movies.
Because last summer it was not this summer. This summer, a lot better than last summer and the summer before that.
Yeah, I mean, and your thoughts on this summer? I mean, did you overall at the multiplex?
I thought it was great. Because like I said, the last couple summers, the reason that you knew fall movies at this time last year is because it was like, oh, this summer's horrible. Let's just move on to the next season. But I'm still in summer now. I'm like, that was good.
Yeah, well,
I like that.
Yeah, and the summer last season, you had like Inception that kind of made you not want to jump off a bridge.
Yeah. There were like two movies that you're like, oh, that was good. Now, this
Toy
year,
Story 3, right?
Yeah, it was Inception, Toy Story 3, and probably one other one.
And maybe Predators.
Yeah, Scott Pilgrim or something too. But again, it was you literally could go on your hand.
Yeah, exactly. Now this time you're like, I can count, I think, more of the movies that I did like rather than I didn't like. Although right now someone's going on my YouTube channel and looking at all my summer movie reviews, they're going to tell me there's actually more I didn't like. But,
right. Well, but that's the thing. This summer, definitely, I was worried about it because it started off great. I mean, we started off with, even the Fast and Furious 75 or whatever it was.
It was better than you thought it was
fun.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, that's all good.
Yeah, I believe we saw Fast 5 like a few days before we saw Thor, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like a week or so.
Yeah, but we saw Fast 5, and Fast 5, I always compare it to The Mummy, because when the movie The Mummy came out, it was 3 weeks before Phantom Menace.
So it was kind of like you're all right, here's your Jolt Cola, again, showing my age.
By the way, Jolt Cola, since he brought it up, I actually drank a Jolt Cola one time in 6th grade, and in Little League, I hit 2 home runs that game.
Jolt Cola, exploding head since 1982.
That's right. And then I passed out for like 38 hours.
Yeah, you crash hard. But it was kind of like, all right, you're fixed before the actual crack shipment comes in. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this summer for sure. I mean, it just started off nice. And then you got a surprise with Bridesmaids, and it was consistent. There were a couple of ones that threw you off, like Green Lantern, but for the most part, I agree with you. I think that we had a nice summer season and it ended nice. I say with Apes, because you are the luckiest person in the world that you have not seen Conan.
I still plan to see that movie, but I almost felt like not seeing Conan the Barbarian before I came down here. That would be we could probably do a whole podcast on that, considering what I've heard about the movie. But I haven't seen it yet.
Well, luckily you experienced Aromascope.
Yeah, I experienced Spy Kids 4D Aromascope.
Gross.
Oh yeah, it's although I didn't actually. I saw the movie early, so I didn't have the scratch and sniff card or whatever. I just saw the on the screen it flashes.
That's a stupid idea.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Here's my thing with scratch and sniff. It's like when they tell you it's scratch and sniff, it's never going to be a good smell. You know, it's never like, oh, scratch it and it's going to smell like blueberry. No, it's always going to smell awful.
Yeah, and you can tell that, like, when they made the movie, they're like, all right, now we can have another horrible smell here and another horrible smell here, and I'm like, it's almost like he's punishing people for watching it. Like you should have known.
I wonder if there's
since you didn't, there you go.
I wonder if there's an overall smell for the movie.
Yeah, I think that's scratch number 6 when the baby shits its pants.
Good. Yeah, I saw Chris Stuckman actually had posted that it was terrible as well.
Oh God.
But and that reminds me, you bring up Chris Stuckman. As far as Jeremy, we were talking about this last night, and I think one of the great things that the fact that you're here now and the fact that we all collaborate with other reviewers on YouTube, there is like this little community forming.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that really kind of benefits everybody. And I know that you kind of feel the same, but I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it.
On just the YouTube community?
Yeah, and the reviewer community, and kind of how we, it really is like, you see, like, you've got the Fury of the Film fan, you've got my us and you and Tom Chattelbash and Chris Stuckman. You have all these people that really have this community of people that it's a nice little thing.
Yeah, at first when I first started YouTube, I didn't know that even existed, and so I was like, all right, I got to create a Facebook and God forbid the boneyard known as MySpace, and so I thought I'd have to do stuff like that. And when I jumped on YouTube really quickly, I was like, it's like its own social networking site. And then I noticed that people did collaborations, and again, I didn't know that this stuff existed. I was just a guy with a camera, and I was like, let's just like kind of do that. I'm going to film myself rant about a movie. That's cool. And but I think I like it. I think it's important, and it's like, you can't, for me anyway, I'm a social person, and so I like social interaction with people. And if I were just to throw up videos and that'll be that, and then I just go away for a couple days and just do whatever, and then I come back and film a video and throw it up and then go away, and I don't interact with people, that would just kind of drive me mad. And I would almost be like, what's the point of that? You know, like at that point you feel like a corporate douchebag, but you have none of the money to show for it, you know? And so I think the YouTube community thing with the movie reviewers, I like it. I think it's great. And they're good people too. I mean, it's not like there's a particular group of douchebags, because I mean, if there were, you're like, oh yeah, you're a douchebag, and Fury the Film Fan will probably let you know.
I'm sure he's kicked out about 12 people.
Yeah. How's it going over there, Fury?
Yeah, seriously.
And that's one of the cool things about the, you say the community, and what our kind of term for it is Schmoville. Which I didn't name. Harloff did. I didn't think it would take off, but
and it did. People
now
like Schmoville.
We have people like appointing themselves like, oh, I'm the mayor, I'm the DA,
the DA of Schmoville. I'm sure that they're in the chat room right now.
And that's the coolest thing is like when you watch a random YouTube video and you see the comments, it's just the stupidest. It's just inane, dumb comments. But when you look at our comments, most of them are. I mean, you get people that just are a little confused.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of it are actually well put together thoughts, and they inform you, and so when they call me the chimp, I don't get that upset.
And that's the thing where talking about the YouTube movie reviewer community, it does transcend people with cameras who actually do this. It is like like the subscribers and whatnot, when they comment and you see conversations happening, and I mean you got the troll fights also, which I haven't seen Troll Hunter, so it'll have to do. But seeing people,
is Troll Hunters out?
I think it. Yeah. Well, I mean,
did you see the trailer
in America? I mean, I think in Europe it came out like 7 years ago.
There's a movie called Troll Hunter that was coming. I think it was supposed to be released in like July. And
I always thought it was just a video with Stuckman and Fury the Film.
No, it's like a horror movie. Like these kids go camping, as every horror movie starts out.
We found the tape.
Yeah, and this is kind of like it's not like Sasquatch, but it's something like that where there's these trolls.
Yeah. I wanted to see that movie so bad.
Yeah.
I actually know someone. He went to Show West in California, and he came back. The first thing he said, he was like, "I saw Troll Hunter." And I was like, how was it? He was like, it was worth seeing your reaction right now.
Do they kill Far Cry? That's what I want to know.
Oh man,
all right. Poor Far Cry.
Singling out.
Sorry, he's got to hear it. But anyway, but what I agree with you though, as far as the comments and everything too. Mark was saying, I apologize. As far as you get these conversations, and that's why Mark and I started the channel too, because we do love movies. We love talking to people about it, and that's why we try to answer as many comments as we can. Because it's always fun to watch people's opinions. And that's the thing, and I think you feel the same way, is we never say that our opinion is gospel and you have to listen to us.
They never say that.
But it's true. I mean,
Jeremy's opinion actually is gospel.
That's true. Well, to them, for sure. I mean, you've got your followers are very loyal, man.
I mean, we're just two monkeys telling you what we like. Hey, we like the ape movie because it was about us. But Jeremy actually tells you, like, this movie's good or this movie's not good.
My word is not good. I have my guilty pleasures. Honestly, this is actual fact, and this is proof that sometimes I'm a dipshit. I actually know 99% of the lines in the movie Street Fighter, the Van Damme one.
Oh, holy crap! Didn't I give that to you for your
I don't
birthday?
know why.
Yeah,
I don't know how. I don't know why, but I do. And my friends always like it'll be on TV. It's like Batman and Robin. You flip and you have to stop. You're like, I just have to see this. And then like people will start talking, and I'll start saying the line. I'll say a random line, and my friend kind of gets confused. And then Van Damme says it, and he's like, "You've got to be kidding me." I don't know how. I don't know why. I don't know how. But it's some part of my brain. That's my hero ability. That's my autistic thing.
I'm surprised in the actual movie Van Damme just doesn't turn to you and look at you and be like, what the hell are you doing, kid?
What the fuck?
I'm a huge Van Damme fan, and as a kid, like Hard Target is one of my favorite action movies of all time. And so like for this past birthday, Harloff just gave me Street Fighter because he had it, and I'm like, and when I said it before, this movie is so bad you can't even re-gift it.
It's a well thought out gift.
My brother did the same thing for my birthday. He got me Mortal Kombat, the original on
great
Blu-ray,
movie,
which I enjoy. Mortal Kombat, of the video game movies, that's probably the one.
And it's fun to watch because it's almost like March Madness. It's like because you have brackets and you have let's see, Johnny Cage is going up against Scorpion in the first round. And
that was
a lot of fun, yeah.
And then I there were 3 Blu-rays, so I flipped through and I was like, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, I hate you too.
Ooh, it's so bad.
Yeah, and then the next one, Street Fighter, and I was like, okay, I get it.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, have there been? You bring up the video game thing. Mortal Kombat maybe is the only good movie, right?
The one that I can
Tomb Raider's
think of.
crap too.
Yeah, I hated Tomb Raider because I mean the whole concept of Tomb Raider. I mean, now they're starting to, the new game looks cool, and it's almost like they're like, all right, Tomb Raider can be more than just like, you know, tits and, you know, polygons that like people like. But to look,
I jerked off the polygons.
Yeah.
Is that why you were late today?
But it looks like, you know, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, they've rebooted Tomb Raider like 100 times. So, I mean, they know they have something there, but it looks like they're finally doing it right. But, yeah, other than that, in terms of the movies, I didn't hate Prince of Persia, but I didn't love it.
We felt the same way because we saw Prince of Persia, and I think we ended up liking it a little more than we thought we would, simply because right after that we had to go see Sex and the City 2.
Oh, good God!
So we saw Prince of Persia, and then we're like, yeah, it was okay. Then we're sitting in Sex and the City 2, where, by the way, they go to the desert and they're hanging out with camels, and you're like, dude, that Prince of Persia movie was great.
Oh, it made it look like The Godfather. But wait, so let me ask you then, because I know that you came out with a video a while ago when it was announced that Mark Wahlberg was going to be playing Drake in Uncharted. So now that that's gone and that's done, how are you feeling? Did they announce who is going to be playing him now?
There have been rumors, and I think it's the person who did the Pill movie where he gets, I can't think of it.
Which one?
Limitless. Isn't the director doing
same?
Limitless?
Okay.
Last I heard, anyway. I mean, now like I'm going to see like the bar of comments going, nope, you're not on the other. Nope, it's not that anymore. But last I heard, it was the guy who directed Limitless, and so I'm thinking. So I thought Bradley Cooper, and I was like, Bradley Cooper wouldn't be a bad Nathan Drake at all.
Yeah.
And so I mean, because Uncharted itself, and I've always said this, is a movie in and of itself, and it's almost like if you want a really good Uncharted movie, just play the game.
Right.
But there are people who don't play games, so they'll never get that. And
like
so
me, yeah.
But that's the thing, though. That's something I was thinking about, because I guess it's kind of like, you know, when you adapt into a book, they change it a lot. And for me, I would always like to see like an Old Republic. The Knights of the Old Republic. Did you ever play the original?
Oh yeah. And Old Republic's coming out, and that looks really good.
Right. Well, the Knights of the Old Republic, when that originally came out, that story was one of the best Star Wars stories for me, and I would love to see it, and you know, as a movie. And people are like, well, the twist is gone. Not for people who have never played the game.
Yeah, it's true. And but the thing about that is, it's kind of like those Choose Your Own Adventure books. Again, showing my age. And but you can kind of.
Do you want to continue into the cave, or would you rather go back to Grandpa's car?
Yeah, you got to flip through page 86. Like, nope, Grandpa's car it is.
Do you go into the back of the van and eat the Charleston chew, or do you tell your mom about the strange man?
You tell your mom about the strange man, and then the ceiling falls on your head and you die. There's no point. You always die in those things. But you can kind of choose your own path. So the difficult thing about those kind of games where you can choose your own way, like Mass Effect and whatnot, is you almost can't do that, because it kind of locks the story into a place where people will be like, well, I didn't like it because that's totally not where I would have gone. And people fresh to the content will like it, but people who are like veterans of the content will be like, that's kind of not what it's all about at all.
Well, see, I mean, and this is why it upsets me to no end that I just can't play video games. That I just don't like doing it anymore, because Harloff showed me a trailer for the new Star Wars video game,
The Old Republic,
and watching the trailer of that got me so excited to see a Star Wars movie, and then I got really sad afterwards. I'm like, oh, this is never going to happen. This movie's never going to get made. Now I actually have to do work with my stupid non-opposable thumbs to get the story out.
But that drives me crazy, though. I mean, it's a whole other podcast, but it really is like why they can't hire that team to do this to the Star Wars movies.
Oh,
but
exactly.
Anyway, so let's go back to. I wanted to go back to you because we go off on Star Wars. We'll be here for 12 hours.
But this is how my friends and I are, and that's one of the things about YouTube is I was like, I could talk movies because 9 out of 10 of the conversations I have in life are about movies, and we do that, and you go on rabbit trails, and by the end, you're talking about something that's completely random than what you started out on.
And it's such a better thing than like, you know, small talk, like talk about the weather or something. Like in the rare opportunity that I'm actually on a date, you go to movies. That's your go-to.
Oh yeah.
And you see what somebody's interested in. I was out with a girl last week, and she said she likes Christopher Nolan movies, and I'm like,
marry me.
This can work.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Well, there you go, ladies. So now you know. So let's talk a little more about as far as how you got started, because I know a lot of the fans are curious about.
All right. Well, in terms of talking about movies and whatnot, there was actually something before that, and I always forget that this is actually how my YouTube channel started. And I had my original was Movie Man 191, and if you're wondering how I came up with that name, my friend's email was Movie Man something, and so it was just in my head, and I was like, I like movies, and then it was like, oh, it's taken. I was like 191. They're furthest away on the keypad, whatever. And so it was literally 3 random numbers, and so I actually cut together like trailers and whatnot. that. And I just liked doing that. I like taking footage of something and trying to make it look really cool. Like I cut together Batman and Robin to make it look like it was going to be a good movie or something. And I used that song that was
You are a genius if you pulled that
I still
off.
have that?
Yeah, it's on my Movie Man 191 channel. It was I used the song that they used in the Star Trek trailer.
Yeah.
So I mean, like Mr. Freeze is crying and like, you know, like, oh, you have to cheat death and like pain, and I'm like, this is all right. Like, this is impossible. I don't know how this happened. So I did that. I did one for Heroes Season 1, and I did one for the big thing when 300 came out was to take footage of something, take the trailer to 300 and all the audio, and put different video to the audio. So it's like something else from a video game's talking, we are Sparta, and this and that. And I did that with Metal Gear Solid. And I did it to this day is one of my favorite videos of like that I ever did. And so I put these on YouTube, and you know, like I got like 3 hits in about an eon and a half. And so when I saw Transformers 2, I hated it, and my friends for months had been like, dude, you should go on YouTube, you would kill on that. I'm like, I'm not that interesting. No, I don't do stand-up or anything. And then nah. And so I saw Transformers 2, and I was like, I hated it so much. And I went online, I saw reviews, and people were like, well, you know, the logistics of the this and that and the acting prowess. And I was like, this is really boring. I was like, maybe I should rant about Transformers 2. And so I set up my camera, and it was a camera that my friends and I had, and I bought this camera. It was an XL2. It was an expensive camera, and because my friends and I were like,
big.
yeah, we're all full of hopes and dreams, like we're gonna make independent films, and we made like one, and so like one 4-minute short film.
What was it about?
Someone dies. My friend gets shot in the face, which was, I mean, you know, when you want to do independent films and whatnot, guaranteed someone's gonna die because it's the easiest, most entertaining thing to do.
It's the cheapest way to get like an inciting action. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna play dead.
Yeah, exactly. And my friend, we always joked because my friend, he always died. It was that same friend. He was like Kenny of our group of friends. We're like, we're gonna kill Mikey again, and so Mike died in this and this. We filmed actually, I shouldn't say one. We did like a couple things, and so after that, we didn't use my camera, and I was like, well, if I have this camera, I'm using it for something, and that mixed with Transformers 2, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And here's the good part: it'll bring people over to my channel because they're gonna look for a Transformers 2 review. They'll find mine, and then they'll see my trailers I made, and they'll finally get the hits that I want them to get.
Batman and Robin is a good movie.
Yeah, and after that, I was like, oh, we'll see how it goes. And so people were like, that was a good video. I loved the Transformers 2 rant. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll do another one. So next week I did another one, and then I did more and more and more. And Fury the Film Fan was like, I like you. I'm going to feature you in my Film Fan of the Week thing. And I was like, that's really cool. I had like 300 subscribers in about like 4 months. I was like, this is fantastic.
300 people, you're huge.
I know, yeah. To me, that was like awesome because I remember I saw you guys and your reviews before I ever did reviews, and I was like, they have like 1,000 subscribers. They're like gods.
We're big time, man.
How?
Yeah, we're big
time. And so,
and then he just went like this in the future.
I did not. Jeremy's not a dick. But he does talk in the third person apparently when he talks about himself. So whatever.
Wouldn't that be awesome if Jeremy was like that? Like he came in and he's like, Jeremy does not eat California
pizza. Like The Rock. Jeremy Jahns says I have 45,000 subscribers and you guys only have 12.
And so
I tried to buy him a drink last night. Jeremy will only drink an appletini.
I look like JD from Scrubs, but I don't drink JD's drinks.
No, Jeremy actually drinks Shock Top, which is a great beer.
Yes, exactly.
Turn me on to it.
Shock Top all the way.
When we're old enough to drink it legally.
In a couple years, we will buy that all the time.
Find it right next to Jolt Cola.
But so I was, and so it just kind of, you're like, oh, I like the comments and the feedback, and that's really cool. And so I just did another one, and now it is what it is. And at a point, I was like, I thought to myself, how far would I want to go with like Movie Man 191? It was a random name from an email that my friend had and 3 random numbers. Do I really want to keep that? And so I switched over. I was like, well, I had 600 subscribers at that time, and I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna build it from the ground up or something, I should do it now because I know me, and I know I'm gonna sit on it, and then when I have like 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to want to do it. And then I'm really going to regret doing it because if you make another channel, not everyone's going to come over. They're going to be like, that's too much work, dude. I came to you for the ease of use. Now you're making me work for it? No. And so I was like, well, I better do it now. So I switched over to my name, and which is funny because it says I've had that channel since 2007. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I made a YouTube channel that was just my name. And so I went through every password that I possibly could. I finally found the one.
Yeah.
And so from there, it is what it is. I just kind of do videos now, and I just have done that ever since.
Did your subscribers, you had 600 at the time, is that what you said? Mm-hmm. So did they all come over to?
I noticed immediately half did. So if you ever if you do videos and you're thinking of changing your channel name, it count on maybe half coming over. So yeah,
and get an easy name too.
Yeah, get an easy name.
Yeah, like your name. Actually, I say that, but our name is Schmoes.
No one can pronounce that.
It's so hard. I tell everybody who introduces us or introduces me. Hey, this guy's from Schmoes. No, it's plural and singular. That's all you have to remember. And
you mean we're not Schmoes Knows?
No, we're not Joe Schmoes. We're not Schmoes Joe. Everybody,
Joe Schmo,
I say plural singular. Like most people are reasonably well educated. They look at me like I'm speaking French.
Well, I mean, they've gotten better. It's
we're not talking about all
no,
guys,
we
just some of you guys.
But it has no. But honestly, we don't really the YouTube. They always, we haven't got a lot of name. They don't get the name wrong.
This is like people on the street, like my family members.
People on the street and family members in the same sentence.
Right.
You heard it here first.
That's true. Well, all right. So when you started realizing, like, because we went from. When we hit like 5,000 subscribers, we're like, okay, this is we're starting to really get some ground here. So like when I remember, like you had hit like 10,000, you put the video out that you'd done it, and then you went from like 10,000 to like 30 to 40, like that. Like,
it
was pretty fast
within
man.
the next year. And
yeah.
So yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. I don't know other YouTube channels, and I mean you see people like DeFranco and all these all these people who have a lot of subscribers, and I'm like, I don't know how long it takes to get that.
Right.
And so to me, I'm like, I don't know. I genuinely, I'm not trying to be modest. I don't know that like it took me a year, I think, to get 10,000 subscribers. I didn't know if it was good or bad. I'm like, it just was what it was. And so I noticed the next year, I've gained like 30, and so I'm like, well, that's better than last year. But I don't know if I'm ahead of the curve or anything like that. I just kind of people have asked me like, well, so what's your plan and what's your marketing strategy? I'm like, I just do things.
I think that's why you're as successful as you are, because one, and I say it like, in all honesty, you're a nice guy. You've helped us out tremendously. But you put out quality stuff. They're well thought out, and I think that's why you have the audience that you do, and you love movies, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I'll say.
And in case that's not true, I spiked his coffee with True Serum, so we're really going to get to the bottom of this.
If I start looking really stoned, like, yes, I am Christian. Yes, it's good Christian.
Right? Exactly. It gets really creepy, and you guys can do the podcast by yourself.
And that's always been my theory too. Like when you watch a guy like Jeremy's reviews, is that is the quality comes through, and I've always been like, okay, look, if it's a good product, then people will come to it. Now, having said that, I don't know why it took us so long to not use a webcam from 2004.
You guys really did look like a snuff video. Like, good evening.
We've got that. Like, we have that on our front page. It says, when you found the Schmoes and how long you've been fans. And some guy said that. He said, I've been a fan since the beginning when you guys looked like you're making snuff films out of your basement.
Yeah, you got that guy from, what was it, that Nicolas Cage movie? 9mm?
Something 8mm.
8mm. Yeah, you got Mule or whatever his name was. With the GIMP the zipper mouthpiece.
It's funny because as we updated and you guys like are on it so fast, like when we just switched, we're in 1080 now, and people are just like, new camera. Yeah, like, they'll tell you right away.
And it's my kind of thing too. I'm like, oh, Christian, they're not going to notice, and every time they notice so much. They're so good with every one of our improvements.
But it feels good though, because it means that they're involved.
I love it. Yeah. It's like crack. Reading the comments is a little bit like crack after a while,
because you get into discussions with them, and I think that's the thing, is they're not just saying these names. They're just calling names and stuff. Like, if there's a movie, even if they don't agree with it, and you have this conversation, well, I didn't enjoy Apes as much as you guys did because of this, and this. That I love.
Yeah, and you're all good with that. Not like, you fucking suck, Apes sucks,
Right.
Christopher Nolan sucks.
Bunch of morons.
Hey, I threw you out there again, Nolan hater. Sorry, fuck that. But
And that's the only thing that I won't do is I won't get into like a fight on the internet because it just takes it's like all drawn out, you know, and it just takes too many comments. Do you get into it with people who don't like the videos or?
Well, first of all, I do read comments. I can't respond to all of them, but I read comments. And wow,
What the hell
were you guys playing footsie under the desks in fourth grade?
That's it.
I was checking the time, and the guy just hit me in the knee.
But
It's fun to punch Christian. If you see him on the street, I would do it.
I have a guest.
This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah.
I understand. Like I said, friend conversations and rabbit trails, and it's all good.
Well, all right. So one more thing I wanted to talk about with YouTube and.
Well,
I want to hear about the comments too. Yeah.
I do. I read all the comments. I can't respond to all of them, but I do read them, especially the ones about me. I need to do a Smurfs review, and I'm going to say it for the 9th time. It ain't happening. I'm not reviewing the Smurfs. They did a Smurfs review. I did Spy Kids 4. I took that bullet.
Right.
I don't know.
We traded.
If you take a bullet, you shouldn't be like, yeah, I'm obligated to take another one. It's going to be awesome.
Well, there's taking bullets, and then there's being Kevin Costner at the beginning of Dances with Wolves when you're just like, somebody shoot me.
Yeah.
Please. That's going into Smurfs.
And well, I mean, there also, and this is part of my personality type, I'm one of those people because I'm down with like, hey, you should review that or this and that. And then it comes to like all caps and exclamation points like, you need to review Smurfs now. And I'm like, my personality type, and I've always been this way, I'm like, now I just can't because you just said I have to. And I'm not saying like if one person did that is whatever, but I mean, a lot of people have been like, dude, you need to. And I'm like, it's just me. Now I just got to fight it.
Well, but it's also one of those things though too. It's different. Like I understand why you just did your Dark Knight review. You love the movie. It's a classic kind of review, as opposed to something like the Smurfs where you've missed. Like it's just it's gone.
The boat's gone, and no one remembers the Smurfs. And that was the thing about
unfortunately, I wish that was true.
Yeah, you guys unfortunately have to remember for the rest of their lives.
I think we should do a combo review.
Public, it's now gone. Like I remember, like the local theater where I live no longer has Smurfs,
which is awesome.
I'm glad of that. But what's the point of reviewing Smurfs as opposed to, like you said, The Dark Knight, where it's a movie that is still in people's minds, and people forever were like, dude, Dark Knight review, seriously, Dark Knight review. And it was one of those things where I'm like, it's so daunting, the thought that I'm like, that's one of my favorite movies, honestly. And I was like, I want to do it well. And then I was like, you know what, one day I sat down, I was like, I'm just going to talk about it on my camera, and however long it is, it's going to be that long. It turned out being like 9 minutes, which is easily 3 times longer than most of my videos. But I was like, that is what it is. You guys wanted your Dark Knight review. There's your 9-minute Dark Knight review. Love it or hate it, there it is. And so,
it was such a treat. It was such a treat to watch it yesterday because I saw the review, and then we went like yesterday. Jeremy gets into town, and we go to like 9 different studios, and we're hanging out. And Christian and I had to go shoot stuff for reels, and we finally get back to my apartment where Jeremy's staying, and we're so tired, and we're going out that night. The Dark Knight is on TV, and we put it on the Dark Knight, and both of us, like 15 minutes into the Dark Knight, we're talking about how much we love it. We're both asleep.
Yeah, I mean,
two old men.
Oh my gosh! When I say I actually let's see, the two nights before last night, I did a video, and then I just was up because they were like upload. Like for people who don't upload things on YouTube, there are a lot of upload problems very frequently,
especially at Mark Ellis's house.
And, dude, that guy, it took an hour.
That's
it's never taken an hour. Do you pay for that internet? It's got to be like Make-A-Wish internet.
Uverse.
Tell me it's free.
There's a gentleman that shows up on a pony, and I give him the package, and he says he's going to ride it to Oregon.
And Costner from Postman's like, I'll be right there. And but yeah, so so I was up that night, and then I was up last night, and I actually the night after that. Last night was the first night in 2 nights I actually slept. So
wow. Well, yeah, you look well rested. You look like something out of The Walking Dead when I picked you up from the airport. All right, so here's one more thing I wanted to talk about with the YouTube community, and And then we want to get into the fall movies. But let's talk about the You Reviewers Awards.
Yes.
Which is, some people ask, are we going to do it a second one? We're on board, and now we're asking, Jeremy, are you on board for You Reviewers too?
Absolutely. And it's really funny because people ask me about You Reviewers, and I was like, actually, it's really funny. He messaged me on YouTube. He was like, hey, can I give you a call about something? And we'd collaborated before, so he wasn't like just some guy like, hey, dude, can I have your number?
I got your phone number.
It'll be awesome.
Hey, is it cool if I stand on the other side of the street and just stare into your window?
Can you do a Dark Knight review on the phone for me?
By the way, you snore at about 3 a.m. when you sleep.
Don't worry, I took a lot of footage of Jeremy sleeping last night. I'll post it.
That couldn't sound more creepy. Just the fact that you visually, the visual, you saw me sleep.
Yeah.
That's just weird. But yes, and people ask me questions about it, and I'm like, I'm only half of it. And actually, he called me and he was like, I have this idea. Let's do this. And I was like, that's a great idea. I'm on board with that. So yeah, I want to do a lot more with it too this year. And it's you can talk about more about that if you'd like. Do you have ideas?
I do have ideas, but I also want to publicly apologize for the editing fiasco that happened in the first one. A lot of people don't know this, and we'll let a little secret.
Yeah, this is behind the scenes right here.
Yeah, this was an absolute train wreck. So what happened was that we kind of figured we're going to get a person that I knew to edit it. And this is a guy who is, who we
love. He's a really talented
good
director.
guy, and I worked with him before. And he's like, and so he passed it on to someone else, and I'm like, that's a bad sign. And then we got the first pass, if you will, of it, and it was horrendous.
Yeah, and the prospect of someone else editing the video is very cool. As someone who edits my videos, that's the longest part of any YouTube video, and it's the part where I'm like, God, I need to edit it now. And so the prospect of someone else editing, I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'll just film my thing and send it to someone else. I don't have to think about it. Fantastic.
But you also take a weird sense of pride in it too, because you never want to sit down and edit the videos, but then you're also, if somebody else is doing it, you're like, wait a minute, are they going to put in that one joke that I said?
And I'll say this, some jokes actually I don't think of until I'm editing, and I'm like, oh, that'd be funny if I just had this come on screen. So I agree.
And that was the thing. So and it was because what we did is we shot Roddy Piper, and we shot Katie Sackhoff and Bonnie Somerville, and we're like, okay, here's
Renazizi,
and Steve Renazizi.
And I put on a tie. I mean, we had a lot of work to do.
Yeah, so we had all that stuff, and then we saw it, and I called him. I'm like, dude, we might not be able to do this. And so Jeremy, to his credit, goes, send me the footage. I got a couple buddies that will do the credits, and he put it together and he edited all 4 pieces.
And we sent it from Harloff's internet, not mine. Yeah, so it actually got to him sometime in March.
Yeah. Actually, I thought I knew someone, and they were like, I know I don't have time to do that, and so I just went on Facebook. I was like, we literally, because our promise to you guys was that we were going to have this before the Oscars, and the Oscars were in a few days, and so it was crunch time, and so I went on Facebook. And I was like, does anybody know how to do titles and things like that? And a few people sent me their stuff, and it wasn't what I'm looking for, but there's this one guy, and I'm really sorry. You're probably watching right now or listening to this, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name. But he was like, yeah, I could do that. Here's a sample. And I was like, that is actually exactly something that's the ballpark right there. That's what I'm looking for. And I said, can you do it for these categories and have these names and this? And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. And I can get it to you tomorrow. I was like, perfect. So I started editing the videos. That guy sends me stuff. I worked back and forth with him. And that's how you have the titles. And then I found the sound effects for the slap. I think it was a sword sound effect, and so it's just me going best actor.
Yeah, but that's what I loved about the final edit was the fact that it was an award show, but it was still, you can tell that it was done by people who love the movies. And the way you did that with
it's done in love.
Yeah, but it was, and we got such a great response from it. Like, again, the community and people have been asking, "Are you doing a second one?" And we are going to do a second one, and our portions will definitely be in 1080 and not in the terrible.
Christian, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Sound,
all right,
the sound was horrendous on our video last time, and we publicly admit that as well too. But it's things that are moving along, and we're going to be doing that, and it'll be Jeremy and us will be hosting again, and we're changing up the criteria for the who will be presenting, the other YouTubers that will be involved.
And kind of circling back, that's what's really cool about the community too, is that if you need something that's not, you can put out a message and be like, hey, can somebody help me with this? Or like we've all had us drawn as cartoons by people, which is like that's like second best to getting your own toy.
That guy's awesome. It's Ultra Ed 14. He's the best.
Yeah, he just sent me this. He's like, hey, I drew a picture of you, and my first question was, do I always look that angry? And he was like, sometimes, yeah. And I was like, well, it's awesome. And it's still my thumbnail. It's been my thumbnail ever since I think he sent it to me.
Yeah, ours too. I'm pretty sure, again, it's Ultra Ed 14, and you guys should check him out because he's a really talented, he's a young kid too.
Yeah, he's some people have asked me, like, who did your thumbnail? That's who it is.
Yeah,
and that was you're awesome, dude. That's good.
That was my Facebook profile forever until I met R2D2 at Comic-Con. I was like, this should probably go up.
That trumps.
Well, someone also did a thing of us as a chimp and a gorilla, and that's on our Schmoes.
And they're wearing backwards, and it's so perfect too.
Yeah, it is. It's good. But that's the thing, is that it allowed the fans to get involved a lot, and I think that's why it worked.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another thing, is like there are these people out there who it's got to be a persona. And that was another thing when I first started videos. I'm a big fan of the Comedy Central roast. So if you look at the early reviews on my Movie Man 191, I'm just hammering these movies and I'm just roasting the hell out of them. And then at a point I noticed about 2 months in, I'm like, I'm just bitter all the time. It's really weird. And because when you do that much bitterness, and it took me a long time to edit. So, it was like a weekend that it would take to edit a video because I was kind of veteran at it. And it was kind of a thing where I'm like, I would rather just have fun talking about movies. And I mean, I don't want to sound cheesy, but inspire people to be like, that's really, I like movies too. That's fantastic. Rather than like, oh yeah, I hate and destruction and that's cool. And so,
unless it's The Last Airbender.
Yeah. Unless it's Spy Kids 4D Aromascope.
Right.
I got to scratch this and then smell it. Wait, what is this?
I can't believe that. But I just think people who there are people out there, some who do movie reviews who are like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to be the bitter dick. And it's like, well, it's harder to get people to want to be like, I'll draw a cartoon of you, or I'll do it. Yeah, sure, I'll help you out on that show. You know, so it's
and that's what I would tell anybody who wants to start a movie review kind of channel, is like, you have to be yourself, because it's the same thing with like when you watch someone do stand up, but they're doing a character the whole time.
Yeah, it's exhausting.
I just want to be myself.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, we're getting close on time here. So before we answer questions, we want to go over the fall movie preview.
I have no idea what's coming out. So.
Yeah, that's right. So do we have the magazine? Where is that thing?
Ellis had it last.
Okay.
Thank goodness we have Katie doing all the technical
stuff. We'd be falling apart if we didn't have Katie.
It's
Thank
totally
you, Katie.
true.
Katie sets up the mic, she plugs in everything, and she hands us the magazine.
All right,
great sounding mics.
It's
is
amazing.
that Robert Pattinson on the cover of Entertainment?
No, it's someone.
There's a Twilight movie coming out this fall.
As a Washingtonian, we actually hate Twilight more than most of the world.
Yeah, what's that? What, you live up there, and so you have to deal with these werewolves running around with no shirt on.
Dude, it's crazy. Like up there, like when the movies come out, it's like this everywhere, but up there, it's something else entirely.
Yeah.
It's just something else entirely. And I'm pretty sure we ran the author out of the state with pitchforks at one point. I'm dead serious.
All right, let's do this quick because we do want to get to the fans. So we're just going to throw out a couple of names for movies that are coming out. If you're excited for it, what you think. Is it going to be something that people are talking about, or is it going to be a pile of piss? All right, so let's start with September 23rd. You have Moneyball with Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's directed by Bennett Miller, and it's based off the novel that came out, or the book that came out a while ago.
Yeah, and if our fans didn't know that you were looking at a magazine, just the way you delivered that, it's starring this and directed by this.
Yes, and
they know he's reading off a card. I think Moneyball. I've seen the trailer for Moneyball, and it's about this scout that he learns that he kind of has to fight the system, like Harloff's Yankees, where we can't throw a bunch of money at everybody, so we have to find a different way to win. We have to get the plucky underdogs, and it looks like a good movie. From the trailer, I'm really excited about it.
I'm a sucker for underdog movies.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, like when you see me review, if it's an underdog movie, if it's like Secretariat or something, I'm like, I liked the movie a lot. I just did.
Yeah, what I'm even thinking as I'm going.
Secretariat, yeah, you knew it wasn't great, but it was still fun to watch. You were in it the whole time.
Secretariat was good.
And Diane Lane is so
straight
hot.
up.
It was good. Yeah, it was a good movie. I liked it.
We're gonna have to rush through these things. So we have an option. We can either change. We can literally change.
I see Abduction. Don't do that.
Well, that's something we got to talk about. It's a Taylor Lautner action film. John Singleton says in this article that he thinks that Taylor Lautner is going to be the next action star.
John Singleton directed it?
Yeah, that guys are going to like.
Wow.
Which guys are going to be like, oh, I got to see that Taylor Lautner movie. Come on.
Did you see those abs in that one werewolf movie?
Exactly. I mean, who's
iron a shirt on that bitch?
Unbelievable.
The greatest concept ever that I've seen recently of internet videos that aren't anybody in this room is on Funny or Die. They had, when the NFL lockout was going on, they had a Field of Dreams spoof. And if you go, it's really funny. But Taylor Lautner was starring as the Kevin Costner character, and he's almost single-handedly is so bad in that movie or in that short that it ruins the concept. But it's such a funny concept, but it's Taylor Lautner's just not that good.
As I'm going through these, I'm realizing that we might have to do a full podcast on this thing. We're not going. There's no way we're.
I think. Why don't you just pick out a couple? Like the one that I'm really looking forward to, and I know, but I'll let Harloff say it, is the movie about mixed martial arts.
Oh yeah, I mean Warrior. That comes out Warrior comes out really soon, and it's the people that have seen early screenings of it say it's like the next Rocky, and you hear that all the time. But I mean, I hope that it finally does MMA justice, because there's been every MMA movie that's made is always some kind of crime ring, or there's some kind of bullshit going on. It's like everything in Red Belt there was crime, and
it's always like Lionheart, like they're in an underground garage and everybody's waving money and betting on stuff.
It's a sport, treat it as a sport, and I think that this movie is doing that, and it looks great. And I love Tom Hardy's one of my favorite actors right now, so I'm excited about it.
Young Picard from Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, that's unbelievable that you know that.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew someone who actually screened Warrior at down in California like 2 months ago at Show West, and he went into it. He was like, all right, let's blow some time, and he came out, I guess he was like, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. So good. I'm looking forward to it. I trust his opinion. So
all right, well, what do we think about we'll pick one or two more, and you know what, maybe we'll bring him. Jeremy's going to be here for another 2 podcasts. He's going to co-host with us, so we'll still do some more fall movies. But for right now, let's talk about one more movie that I'm curious about, and I know our buddy Chris Stuckman had already seen it and loves it, and that's 50-50.
I have no idea what it is.
I don't think I've seen
me.
the trailer.
Did I
50-50?
Right now, Stuckman's pulling at his hair.
Yeah, it is. See, that goes back to what you were saying before, as far as no one heard. I guarantee a lot of people are going to be talking about this movie. It's with Seth Rogen and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and it's kind of based off true events with Seth Rogen's life about his friend who has cancer, and it's the way that they kind of deal with it. The trailer looks great, and Stuckman was raving about it, so I'm very curious about that one. But you guys haven't seen it, so it doesn't.
Yeah. He was like, all right, this is the one we're going to do. We're crunched for time, 50-50. We're like, I don't know.
Pretty much.
It sounds like it could be a very good movie, and it's definitely not coming out in the summer, Do we go see Captain America, or the one where the friend gets cancer?
Yeah, Gordon-Levitt, though, he's really good.
He's great.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's all right. So now we have reached the moment in time that I know everybody is excited about. We're going to be doing questions from the fans, for Mr. Jahns, for us, whatever you guys want to talk about, and we're gonna move.
Yeah, I was going to say, can you read the text?
These people are excited.
No, we'll bring it over. We're just going to
see a lot of O's.
And once again, thanks to Katie for all her technical support, literally holding the computer with our questions.
Here we go.
All right.
So, all right, Jeremy, what is your favorite video game?
Legacy of Kain. And I actually have a tattoo on my arm. I can't show you right now, but I have a tattoo of my arm from the Legacy of Kain series, and it's really cool because apparently I like things that never get a good ending, because a couple people died from that series, and then Amy Hennig, who actually directs, she's the director of the Uncharted games. She went over to Naughty Dog, and so it kind of just all fell apart, and it's just a big cliffhanger. But it was the first game where I was like, that is beyond epic. And so I got to say Legacy of Kain.
And Jeremy is still trying to beat my high Tetris score, just to point it out.
Ellis is a Tetris freak. He got like 500,000 points. And he goes, if you can beat the score, I'll reimburse you for your plane ticket down here. So I was playing that. I got like a solid 60,000. I'm like, I'm done.
All right. Fury of the Film fan.
The text is going away. This is what happens when people.
Fast, man. Let me see if I can get back to Fury. I want to ask Fury. Jeremy, how did it feel kicking Fury's ass on Mortal Kombat in front of a live show?
Yeah, we were doing a blog TV show. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fanatic. I have all the deal. I even downloaded Rain, and he actually made him good in this game, which pisses me off. But I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan. So Fury and I were talking about Mortal Kombat, and so I was doing a blog TV show, and I was like, he was on, and I was like, hey, let's just jump on right now, and people can watch. And so we did, and I play the game 24/7 at that point. And
who's your character? If you had to pick one character, your Desert Island character, Melina. She can. I'm a Sub-Zero guy.
She's brutal, man.
Right.
Melina's evil.
So Wedge 32, Schmoes and Jeremy, what is the worst superhero movie of all time?
Oh my gosh!
You can take like the really low rent ones, like there's a Flash movie that came out in the early 90s that's awful.
It's got to be so awful that it's got to be Batman and Robin. It's a good one. You know why I say Batman and Robin?
Daredevil too.
Daredevil's horrible. Yeah. Batman and Robin killed one of DC's hugest franchises, and that's why I'm like, Batman was dead. And Nolan brought it back, and that's also a reason why I'm like, that guy, he has skill, because Batman and Robin Robin was dead. And then they were talking about after Batman and Robin, was it Nathan Lane was going to be the Mad Hatter and Madonna was going to be Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And that movie never happened because they were like, no one likes Batman.
And we were talking about this yesterday. Is which one's the worst movie, Batman and Robin because it's the worst movie, or Batman Forever because it was more disappointing?
I was more disappointed with Batman Forever because the first time you see those neon lights, you're like, what is this? What happened? Where's Gotham?
All right, from Haitian Guy. Jeremy, what is your favorite movie from 2011?
My favorite movie from 2011. We were actually talking about that. It's really funny.
We generally talk movies.
Yeah, no, every conversation I have. I got to pick between three, and the three would probably be X-Men First Class. I know there's probably a drama or two out there that I'm going to miss, but the ones that are in my head are X-Men First Class, Rise of the Apes, and Harry Potter. And
that's my exact list.
Yeah, exactly. And I really liked Harry Potter. I rarely see movies twice, and I actually saw X-Men First Class twice, Harry Potter twice, and I actually I want to see Apes again, but I've seen it once. Apes was the most surprising. Harry Potter was the conclusion of an epic franchise. Honestly, they did it well. And X-Men First Class, I have to pick. I might have to go with. Damn it.
It's tough, man.
Yeah, X-Men First Class. I would say X-Men First Class.
I'd go with Apes, and also just to throw this one out there too, because not a lot of people talk about it, is Beginners. Was a great movie.
That was a good movie. Well, all right, Gilst Rapst Studio Est. I missed your name. I went too fast, but he asked what the worst movie of 2011. Let me answer first. I'm going to go ahead and say Sanctum. I think Sanctum is a piece of garbage, followed by Conan.
As bad as Conan was, it's got to still be Sanctum.
Sanctum was. It was disappointing as hell. I always forget about those movies that came out in February, but I did see Spy Kids 4, and right now it's in my head because I got to say Spy Kids because they did it in 3D so they can get more money. Granted, the scratch and sniff stickers were free, but I mean, it just threw out a new gimmick out there with D-Box and 3D and now scratch and sniff stickers. It took gimmick to a whole new level. It was horrible. The movie was horrible. It wasn't good for kids, although kids probably like it, but that's because they actually got dumber when they watched it. They don't know that it's bad now. And so Spy Kids 4 it's up there on my list.
They don't know they're getting stupider. Every time they scratch that card, they're getting dumber.
Another one I think from Godzilla X. I don't know if we use what do you guys think about the new Dark Knight will live up to expectations? Or not Dark Knight, but
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
I hope so. If there's one guy that can do it, there's a lot of villains, and we all know what happened the last time a Batman movie had a ton of villains in it. But if there's one guy that can pull it off, it's Nolan.
Yeah, I say entrust in Nolan because I'm, take or leave that Anne Hathaway picture. I'm okay with him. I think it's going to be good. I think the movie's going to be actually. That and The Hobbit are the ones I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I always forget. Dude, The Hobbit. Yes, The Hobbit. But in terms of Dark Knight Rises, I think that, personally, just for me, I don't think it'll be as good as The Dark Knight, but I do think it'll be a really solid conclusion to a really great trilogy. And that's what I think.
I agree.
You know what we should all do? We should all go see The Dark Knight Rises and then do a review online about it.
Almost like we should. If only we can find a couple people who can get us into that.
DJ Ham 411 asked me if I saw Fright Night yet. Let me clear this up.
I didn't say anything about you.
I understand this. I did not see Fright Night, and it was because I missed the screening. It wasn't because I'm scared of horror movies.
But he doesn't like horror movies.
I don't like them, but that's not why I didn't see it. I want to see it.
I think Christian had nightmares like seeing Dracula dead and loving it. Like, I think any horror movie terrifies the guy.
No, I don't agree with that.
But you will like Fright Night, I think.
Yeah, it's good.
You guys can take this one. John Beck did look good yesterday. Let's take this last one. What do you guys think of The Walking Dead? I've never seen it, and go.
I can't believe you haven't seen it. I love The Walking Dead, but now that they changed writers, and like I said, I did a video saying I'm scared for season 2. Christian did a video saying Jeremy was wrong.
No, but why did I? But at the time I wasn't.
I really got to spin this to me being right and you being wrong. It's just I just have to. But yeah, now Darabont's not producer anymore, and so now it's almost like it is a completely different crew. Yeah, and I don't know what season 2 holds. I love season 1. I'm curious. I'm gonna go in there really all right, we'll see.
It scares the hell out of me. I hope it's good. They brought on the guy that used to do The Shield, so it was one of my favorite shows. So I'm curious. I'm curious how it goes. Mm-hmm. But okay, guys. So I wanted to thank you for those of you guys joining us on Block TV. for those of you listening on iTunes, you can find Jeremy on YouTube, youtube.com/Jeremy Jahns, and you can also find him at jeremyjahns.com.
And that's Johns with an A. It's Jahns. I have to spell it weird, otherwise I'm not special.
All right.
Do not go to MovieFan191.
Yes. You can find us, of course, at youtube.com/schmoesknow or schmoesknow.com, and you can get this podcast on iTunes. Make sure that you guys, you subscribe to us on iTunes and rate and comment on there. And Jeremy's actually going to be joining us for 2 more podcasts.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, buddy.
Yeah, he'll be co-hosting. So for those of you on Blog TV, stick around. We'll be doing another podcast very soon with one of the stars from FX's The League, Steve Renazzisi.
Steve, who was a part of the U Reviewers Awards.
He was indeed. So
and, I got to say this. A lot of people ask me about movies, and someone asked me about Source Code, which I have seen. Go to YouTube, type in Source Code Movie Review or whatever title movie review, push enter. If you see me on a red background, I did a review for it. Watch that.
Let us know who comes up first, if it's the Schmoes Source Code review or if it's Jeremy.
The battle is on.
So, Jeremy, I wanted to thank you very much for coming in. It was a lot of fun talking to you. We're going to be doing some videos together before you take off, and maybe we'll we can actually do that fall movie preview for a video. So we can
for real this time.
Real time. So, okay, guys, thank you very much. We also like to thank Katie for making sure that this thing doesn't go into the ground, and thank you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Thank you. Later.